In a recent VHF field day on Oliver's Hill, we were approached by a couple of guys looking for some hidden treasure. They were in the sport of geocaching. They'd found the coordinates and needed to get to our spot to find a clue. Once with the clue, they'd then get the coordinates and find where their stash was buried. The items can be something as simple as a notepad where people sign it to show that they've been, or they can be small items which people can exchange. Geocaching is a modern sport made possible through the public availability of accurate GPS systems. It got a further boost when smartphones with GPS built in became common items. On this fine winter's morning, not only am I going to operate down the beach, pedestrian mobile, but also see if I can find one or more geocaches. Before we go hunting, we'll visit geocaching.com. That's the website with all the geocaches and where they're located. You can get a username and password, and that's free. A good starting point is hide and seek a cache. There's different ways you can find the caches near you, but I find the easiest is to search from a map. Here's all the geocaches in Melbourne. As you can see, the place is covered with them. You click one you want to look at, and a dialog box appears. There's actually a line through it, which means that that cache is not available. So we'll go to another one. And here's the details of the cache. Apparently it's very difficult, although the terrain is fairly easy. The information on each cache has a description. It also gives you some coordinates to start off with. Some other information. This is a log-only cache, which means it's likely very small and it's just a rolled up bit of paper. And then there's some details of visits. It's worth reading the reports from those because there are sometimes some clues. Although you don't have to, you can record whether you found it or not, and any comments. It's worth poking around the site as there's some info for beginners, starting with Geocaching 101. Like radio hams, they do use abbreviations, and there's a glossary to help you get by. It's probably easiest to start off with traditional caches. The information on each cache gives its approximate size. Micro is probably not best for beginners. Instead, try something larger, for instance, a small size. I'll give a few more tips, then we'll go hunting for our first cache. It's 3 or 4 kilometres up the beach, so in the interim we'll do some HF pedestrian mobile. The main thing you'll need is a mobile smartphone that must have GPS capability. You can get apps for free that display the latitude and longitude on your screen. You'll need one of those. The coordinates given on the geocaching website are not necessarily those of the cache itself. Instead, they may be of a nearby landmark. That landmark may have clues that helps you find where the cache actually is. For instance, the numbers you see here might be required to actually find the cache. That's explained on the geocaching.com website on the clue for the particular cache you're looking for. Once you've got the formula right, and there's an online checker for that, then that gives you the latitude and longitude of where the cache is hidden. Once you've followed the instructions and decoded the code, you'll get some coordinates, and they will tell you where the cache is hidden. You look at the changing latitudes and longitudes until you get to the spot where you think it is. Geocaches must be on public property and can be hidden in the most unlikely of places. Plenty of hiding spots in here. Here's my list of a few geocaches, so let's see if I can knock off a few. The first one has the coordinates and also a code. The decoding key for that is on the website, and from that I get the word bush. That could be helpful in finding it. Being in the open, it was easy to get a GPS reading, but if you're looking for something under tree cover, it becomes a great deal harder. Well, this is my first geocache. The container will be familiar to people who've seen some of my other videos because it's exactly the same that I use to store small electronic bits. It's a systemic container with a snap lock lid. Inside the container is a bag with some notes, a little notepad and some little toys. The idea is you take one out and put in something that's better. Inside is a bit of paper that explains what geocaching is all about. And that's the website geocaching.com. Now, just like ham radio, there's a logbook, a bit smaller than ours. I didn't bring any from home, but on my way I found this shell, which I'll put in if there's room. Unlike my first attempt at a cache, finding that wasn't so hard. The next ones are about 2 kilometres away, an ideal distance to do some pedestrian mobile along the beach in the interim. Once you've found a few geocaches and learnt the tricks, you can then think about hiding them. For instance, a little geocache with a QRP radio transmitter would be a great activity, both as a geocache and for ham radio fox hunting. There's so many things you could do. If you've got more ideas, leave them in the comments below.